In the last section, we looked at the main models of population growth, which were the exponential and logistic model, and also introduced the idea of carrying capacity, which is the maximum population size that an environment can support. Now, in this section, we're going to describe what those factors are that place limits on population growth and define the carrying capacity of an environment. Factors that limit population growth can be divided into two categories. Density dependent factors are ones that, as the name suggests, depend on the density of the population you are considering. Density independent factors are ones that are not influenced by a population's density. Density dependent factors are usually biological in nature. They include such things as predation, meaning the presence of predators, the competition for food, competition for mates, accumulation of waste in the environment, and the presence of communicable diseases. When it comes to density dependent factors, a higher density usually corresponds to a population experiencing a higher death rate and lower birth rate. For example, if the population is more dense, then there is less food per individual, which can lead to deaths from starvation and also make conditions not favorable for breeding and reproduction. If a population is more dense, disease can spread more readily between members of the population, jumping from an individual to individual more easily, which in turn increases death rate and lowers birth rate. Two concrete examples of density dependent factors in action can be seen here in these graphs. On the left is a graph pertaining to a parasitic worm called Ascaris lumbricoides. On this graph, you can see the number of worms on the horizontal x-axis and the number of eggs per female on the vertical y-axis. And you can see that the relationship between these two variables is that as the number of worms goes up, the female worms lay fewer eggs and fewer eggs. This is because when resources are more scarce due to there being a more dense population, the female worms don't grow as large, and with a smaller body size, they aren't able to lay as many eggs. So that's density dependent factors. Density independent factors, on the other hand, are usually physical in nature. They include things like weather extremes, natural disasters, pollution, things that kill organisms, but the density of the organisms doesn't matter. For example, a flood is a natural disaster that might kill an entire colony of rabbits. It doesn't matter if there are 10 rabbits in each burrow or 50 rabbits in each burrow. The flood will do its damage regardless of the population density. Another example is shown in this graph. This shows the numbers of aphids, which is a type of insect in a population over the course of the year. You can see that the population peaks during the summer and then steeply drops off, and that's because they are sensitive to the cold. So when nighttime temperatures start dropping, the aphids start dying. It doesn't matter how dense their population is, the cold will kill them regardless. So that wraps up factors that limit population growth. In the next section, we're going to talk about a different aspect of population ecology, which is the chance of individuals within a population surviving to different ages.